Why does your 8-bit footage look like shit? Look at this. It's hideous. This thing right here is called banding. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to get rid of it and potentially make your 8-bit footage look like 10-bit. First, let's look at the difference between 8-bit footage versus 10-bit. So on this chart, you can see 8-bit gives you 256 different color shades per channel, red, green, and blue, as opposed to 10-bit that gives you 1024, which equates to 8-bit giving you 16 million and some change colors versus 1 billion colors. So more colors will result in smoother transitions as seen right here on this chart. And if you have different tonal ranges within the same hue, the banding will be that much more prominent. Hence, majority of the time, banding is a massive issue during exterior shots because of the sky. Not all types of 8-bit footage is created equal. There is another major factor that plays a huge role. It's called color sampling. So you probably heard of 420, 422, 444. What does that really mean? So 444 means that your colors are rendered at full resolution. So when you have 420, your colors are rendered at fourth of the resolution compared to if you have 422, which is half the resolution, and 444 subsampling gives you full resolution. So in this chart, you can clearly see these two clips are both shot at the same resolution in 8-bit, but one is using 420 color sampling, the other one is using 422, and the difference is night and day. Now, let's see that in action. So this footage from Sony is capturing 8-bit 420, and you can see the banding in the sky, whereas this footage from Canon is capturing 8-bit in 422, and there is practically no banding. If you see banding, that is probably YouTube compression. But personally, I'm looking at it with my own eyes and I see no banding at all. And if you're wondering, is there a way to fix this? I will show you that in a second. But before, I just want to share something that's been on my mind. In the last 5 months, I've only put out 5 videos. And that is unlike me, and especially for this channel. We usually produce about 4 videos a month. And the reason behind that is not that I'm getting over it and I don't want to do this anymore. I've been working since December 17th up until now on developing my own toolkit. It is slated to come out on July 4th. And best of all, my last 10 projects that I worked on were graded entirely using Qt, and the clients are beyond thrilled. This toolkit will be your one-stop shop to create Hollywood quality looks in minutes. And if you join the waitlist, you can get 20% off as our early bird special. Link is in the description. Let's get back to the video. All right, so now we're inside Resolve, and I want to quickly take you through this very, very simple node tree. We're going from Sony S-Log 3 to DaVinci Wide Gamut, which is going to be my working color space. In my exposure balance node, all I'm doing is just adjusting my gain, which is offset when you're working in linear, which is exactly what I'm doing here. And then in our ODT, I'm converting it from DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec. 709. Okay, pretty simple stuff. And if I take you back and forth, just keep an eye in the sky right here. You see all this banding, and especially when I make it smaller, it's going to be more visible, and it's going to be especially visible on YouTube. YouTube does its own compression, which is horrendous. So here, I've created a LUT using Qazi's toolkit. If you guys are interested in that, just drop a comment below and I will figure out a way to get that to you. And if somebody says maybe the LUT is adding more banding, that's just not true. Like there's actually more banding before without the LUT with a simple conversion and exposure change. But after the LUT, you see, it's like less visible, but still there. But the LUT is doing so much. And you guys can just see the power of Qt. Like we're creating such an extreme look without really introducing any issues to a very compressed 8-bit 420 footage. Okay, so that's what we got here. Now, the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to create a new node. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to call it depth map. And let's go ahead and type in depth map. So what is the purpose of this? I'm going to invert it. And what I want to do is I'm going to make some adjustments. So I want to take my near limit. I want to pull it closer. And I only want to grab the background, okay? So maybe a little bit more, something like that, maybe a little bit more. So let's just start from something like this, like say something like this. And then I want to turn on post-processing because this always just gives you much cleaner results, and we can see it right here. So this is before, it's just a mush, and then this is after. So let's just leave this on, okay? Now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call it D-band. This is where the magic is going to happen. I'm going to take my depth map information and I'm going to feed it into my D-band, okay? And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off depth map right here, and I'm going to go over here, and nothing is happening so far, okay? So in my D-band node, I'm just going to type in D-band, and I'm going to drop this on. And as soon as I do that, look at this. It cleaned up everything, okay? While leaving our dude in the front as is, because this information right here is only affecting everything in the background. Depth map is an extremely powerful tool, and it's one of those that you can apply it on this entire scene as is, and it will hold. All you have to do is just mess around with the near limit in this case and just make sure that we constantly adjust the back end and not let anything affect the foreground. So let's just say we go here where he's all the way into the distance. And if I just turn this off, and if I show you, it's still crystal clear. So if I go right here, and if I just do D-band on and off, look at this banding and then on, and it's just gone. Like, it does a pretty good job. Your edge threshold, you want to start, like, the reason why I set to middle is because that's a good start off point. Ideally, you want to keep it lower, and you don't want to exaggerate any of these changes, because if I take you really close to this, and if I do before and after, you're going to see that this is what's happening, and we don't want that. So the results that I found to be best in a situation like this, especially with 8-bit footage, is this. Like, you can take the radius and just kill it, which is the same as like killing edge threshold. So now effect is applied to an entire thing, but we're controlling it using our depth map. That was the whole idea. And now I really want to take my post refine and just crank it all the way. That is just going to make sure to like do extra heavy duty and clean up any sort of banding that we can see. Once again, if you're seeing banding on YouTube, that is YouTube. That is not in the footage. I'm looking at the footage right now. The banding is gone. Absolutely gone. I'm just like staring at it. And even if we kill post refine, it's basically doing its thing, but I feel like I see a little bit more banding around this area. But if I just like push it all the way to 1, I start seeing like nothing there, right? So like it's really, really clean. And now if we bring it here, now that's processor intensive. So a couple of things that you can do, you can turn on node caching. Also, you can apply the effect, kill these, and just keep grading your video. And just this way it's going to play in real time. Everything is going to be great. Do it till the end. And then right at the end, just turn these on when you're about to export, and you're going to see the difference. So once again, if I come here and if I turn it off, see the banding right here, and I turn it on, and it's completely gone. Now, another pro tip is always use grain. And this is not noise, this is grain. And heavier, thicker, the better. Obviously, that's going to determine based on the type of project you're working on, but grain goes a long way. Just adding the dithering effect on your footage and just getting rid of that ugly banding even more. So if I take these 3 nodes now, and if I just turn it off, look at all this compared to when we turn it on, it's all gone. So that's how you would get rid of banding from your image. Especially banding is a big issue during exterior shots with the sky, because there's the same hue but different luminance values. And with 420, we saw that color sampling, the colors are being rendered at quarter res. So that might as well be like basically proxy if you were to turn on like quarter res proxy resolution right here as our overall resolution, like how bad this looks. This is basically what's happening to your colors. So like right now we're doing that to our overall resolution, but now imagine that with 420, that's exactly what's happening to your colors. So hopefully that kind of gives you a pretty good sense of like what it means when we talk about 420, 422 sampling or 444 sampling. So that is one example.
Now, in the beginning, I mentioned that not all footage are created equal. Now we move on to this example. Now, the actual camera model is unknown, but this is from Canon. I can show you right here. My IDT is Canon to Canon log to DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709. And we're doing a basic balance. I'm in linear again under gamma, and then I'm just using my gain to bring it down. And then after that, I'm using my LUT. This is also made with Qazi's toolkit. And you can see how it's cleaning up like all of this so much too. So not only we're creating such a fun look, this look was inspired by Netflix's Extraction. I think that's what it's called. And I wanted to just kind of give it this like dirty, warm look. And it turned out so good, and it latches on. Again, if you're interested, I can definitely work something out and throw it in for you. Just comment below. But that's what we have here, right? And then when we turn on grain, boom. So now think about this. Look at this footage without the use of depth map or anything like that. Even if I turn off grain, like there is no banding. Once again, if you're seeing banding, that's YouTube adding their compression. I'm looking at it, there's absolutely no banding. This is perfect. This is 8-bit 422 compared to your 8-bit 420. That's the biggest difference, okay? So 422, 8-bit, super, super clean, and 420, 8-bit. And then this would be our Rec 709, and then this is what we got. It's a pretty stylized look, but it holds because we just have more color sampling available to us. So the image doesn't break apart that easily as we saw in Sony A7 III case. So there you have it.
Guys, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel, share it with friends so we can grow this community together. And now I want to know, what's your biggest challenge when working with 8-bit footage? Drop it in the comment section below. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one. Peace, fam.